Here we go. So we're recording. So how's it going, Kevin?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. How
Yeah,
you
yeah.
been? Haven't talked to you in a long time.
Um, the COVID stuff is of course a real drag. I haven't rehearsed for the last half year, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
No gigs. I don't really have any inspiration to write music. I hoped would be like, the bonus of this entire lockdown stuff that I could write a couple of albums, but there's nothing coming. But for the rest, the family is doing really good.
That's good.
Um, I still have a job.
That's good.
Company surviving,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're getting a puppy next week. So
Nice,
that's cool. Yeah.
nice. A little added more chaos to the
Yeah.
house, you know.
Yeah.
As if having kids isn't enough, throw a dog into the mix.
Yeah. True.
Right. Yeah. Cool, cool. I wish I could say the same about job, but when COVID started, that was it. All my
Yeah.
my teaching business just went completely bankrupt. There was no way to keep it going, and so I just decided to file for the private insolvents and take the shots
Yeah.
as they came. There was really nothing else I could do about it.
No, for us it was also because most of our work we do at schools, and that was gone completely. But my bosses were quite creative and made up this like mad science course that you can buy to do yourself at home, and well, that's keeping us occupied.
Mhm.
And now schools are opening back up, and I can actually start working next week. So
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into the mad science thing in a minute because I want to talk about like what you do and all that stuff. Um, since this is the first podcast and I'm just now introducing you to the world, why don't you tell me who you are and what do you do? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit
well,
about yourself.
my name is Kevin Kentie. I'm a 44-year-old guy from Tilburg, the Netherlands. Um, I'm a father of two boys called Dante and Seth. Married to the lovely Femke. Um, my job is I'm a mad scientist. That's my actual job description.
Yes, as the title
Means
implies.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I teach science and technology to grade school children, and for the rest, I'm a musician. I've been playing bass guitar and guitar in bands for I think 23 years, something like
23
that.
years.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Started
God
in
damn.
1997, I think. So
Wow, that's a
it's
really
quite a,
long time to be playing music.
yeah, yeah. Mostly black metal, but so a bit of doom and a stoner band. And
Yeah, it's cool. It's good
yeah, that's
to kind of,
basically what keeps me occupied. It's the music on the one hand and my family on the other, and the job in between. So
yeah, very cool, very cool. So, tell me a little bit about what is mad science, anyways. Just kind of tell me a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about it.
it's a company from Canada originally,
Okay.
and it's a franchise, so it's spread out in I think something like 20 countries now. And in the Netherlands, it's quite big. We reach 1 in 3 schools in the country, and we do after-school courses, science courses. So kids can do science experiments with us, and we teach them basic chemistry things like making slime or making a volcano. We also do some physics stuff, like Newton's laws, and a bit of biology.
Okay.
And I also do we also give science shows, which I'm also a show master. So I come into a school and I do like a bunch of cool stuff, like light my hands on fire and make an explosion, stuff like that. And that's yeah. Well, our mission is to like um, bring science more to the foreground, because when you're in, especially anyway, over here, science isn't a big thing in school. Only
Okay.
when you go to like college, then science is suddenly something you can do. But when you're, you learn to read, write, you learn your arithmetics, but there's nothing. Yeah, you even get some history and English, but there's no science. So what we're trying to do is make young kids enthusiastic about science, showing them that you can have fun with it, and thus hoping to make more kids choose science later on in life. So because yeah, most people now choose like something that makes them a lot of money, like business or maybe IT. But no, we need scientists in the world, man. It's important.
Yeah, cool. And what exactly did you study in university?
Well, I did history, and I did like a year in college to become a teacher.
Okay.
But then, well, life happened basically, and
Yeah.
I dropped out. And well, I'm lucky that I found math science, and now I'm teaching anyway. And I'm also doing a part-time study to get my teaching degree. So,
Okay, so you're actually technically you are a scientist.
well, basically,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I studied engineering in 1992, when we still had like green screens, and the little
Mhm.
green dot, and
Yeah.
yeah. So people always ask me, they're like, why don't you go be an engineer? And I'm like, well, why don't people play Pong on Atari anymore?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same answer,
Yeah, times change, and
Right. And that's basically what it would be like for me. It'd be like going from like saying, oh yeah, I used to play Pong, and then having somebody say, well, why don't you play The Witcher? Well,
yeah,
that's pretty much it right
it's a
there.
big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big,
yeah.
big difference. Yeah. Yeah, cool. And so job-wise and everything, how long up until the COVID situation were you actually allowed to work? And like during the COVID situation, how long into the situation were you allowed to work?
Well, here we had like 2 lockdowns in the Netherlands.
Okay.
We could work up to the first one, and then during the first one, we switched to doing it online, because well, people already paid for the course, and so we had to finish that, and we did that online. After that, schools started to reopen again, so we could go back to the schools. And but when the second lockdown happened, we were just gone. So then we started to get creative and made up the Mad Science home box,
Cool.
and we sold almost 2,000 of those now. So that's actually going pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
And
like
now,
in the Netherlands, you have total job security. You don't have to worry about it. Or was there like fear of losing your position?
well, no, the government actually uh, provides well support to the companies. So the company is still alive, so I still have a job.
Okay.
So that's yeah, that's just the social security thing for you.
Yeah, here in Germany, they had like a support package for people who are self-employed, and they paid
Mhm.
out something like 9,000 euros one-time type deal, and which
Mhm.
kind of helped people get through their, financial requirements, such as like rent and things like that.
Yeah,
But 9,000 euros gets eaten up like
yeah,
that.
it's not a
It's
lot.
not a lot of money, and it goes really quick. And being that we've already been in this situation for over a year now, a lot
Yeah,
of, yeah, that money just got eaten up super, super fast. And so I was pretty
yeah, and if you
lucky.
haven't, hmm
Yeah, I was pretty lucky because I was able to get enrolled into the social system and then be able to collect money every month. And so my apartment was secure. I had money to put food on the table and make sure to pay some bills and stuff. And so,
Yeah. Well, it would be the same for me if I lost my job. I
Yeah.
would get it like the social supports and stuff. But luckily, I'm still employed, and of course, my wife is working for the biggest insurance company in the Netherlands, and they just said, well, as soon as the first lockdown happened, everyone had to go and work at home, and she's been working at home for over a year now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is Femke working at home? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So but she actually got money to buy like a proper desk and a second screen and a proper desk chair and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the advantage of working for a big business, I guess.
Wow, that's pretty cool. How are the
she's doing fine actually, and she had like a meeting with Microsoft today for her company, and so she's actually moving up even in the COVID times. So that's pretty good.
Wow, that's really great. That's really great. And how are the kids doing? How are they handling the time off? And is it has it been difficult, or has it been?
Yeah. For Seth, it's been quite difficult because he's well, the skate parks are also closed, and he's like a really big skateboarder.
Yeah.
So he hasn't like been able to hang with his mates and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But he did have the chance to just go to school, even when most other kids were like at home. It's because he has ADHD.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was like an arrangement for kids who are like whose parents work for like the police or whatever, or kids that really need a teacher there, that they could come to school. So he has been going to school. Dante has been doing sitting in his room, getting his lessons on Zoom, I think. And for him, that's really, actually, he really likes it because he's been diagnosed with autism a while ago, and he's not that great with social situations. And he just went to high school for the first time. So
Okay.
for most kids, it's like they really miss their classmates, but for him, it's like the two people he connects with at school. He plays online with those guys, and he does a lot of WhatsApping and stuff. And the rest, he's like, oh, he actually likes to be in his like safe little cocoon.
Yeah, that's cool. That was a question I was going to ask, if it was like much better for him to be like in the kind of private Zoom atmosphere,
Yeah.
as opposed to like having the the chaos of the social environment of high school.
Yeah. And he's being picked on quite a lot when he really is in school, because he's different than the others. But this is for him, actually it works a lot better.
How
He's
old is
getting
he
great
now?
grades. So he's 12 years old. He'll be 13 in 3 months.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Almost a teenager. Then the real chaos begins.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing good actually. So yeah.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear it. Really glad to hear it. That's super cool. So tell me about the bands. You've been 23 years, and you've been going strong, I think, from the history of your bands. Everything's been working out pretty good. And so what we've got so far on your list of accomplishments is Ibex Angel Order.
Yeah.
Verbum Verum.
Yeah.
And Gigatron 2000.
Indeed.
And Abysmal Darkening.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're working on right now, or
we did start like a project, but it's not with two mates of mine, which will be like a more industrial black metal thing.
Oh, cool.
But that's just more a home studio one-off project. But we'll see where that goes. Now for the rest, well, Verbum Virus is basically on hold, or maybe even finished. We're not sure.
Okay, tell us a little bit. What is it? Tell us a little bit of the background of what is Verbum Virus. What was the inspiration? How did it start? Where did it begin?
We all started in a different band called Sauron.
Okay.
Like from Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Okay.
And
what kind of music is it?
That was quite furious, hateful black metal.
Okay.
And we started that band in '97, I think.
Okay.
First band I played in. We released 3 albums and played for, I think, like 11 years or 12 years, something like that. Did quite a lot of gigs also abroad. We played Switzerland, Austria, Germany, those kind of things. I was the bass player in that band, and it's like we were 4 guys, but 3 of us had like a more occult leaning, and 1 was more like misanthropic, which was fine for the band. But we wanted to, me and the 2 other guys wanted to make something that was really spiritual for us. And that's how Verbum Virus was born. It means the true word. Also black metal. I got the chance to play guitar because, I also played guitar, only it was when we started Sauron, I was more like a bass player. So I always played bass in that band. Over the years, I taught myself to play guitar. So I was really excited to be able to write some, well, basically almost a complete album on guitar. And the other guy that played guitar in Sauron did the drums because he always wanted to, drum in a band. And so we switched places, and basically it was always a private thing. We just recorded some rehearsal stuff and spread it among friends. And then at one point, me and the guy from Sauron that wasn't in Verbum Virus formed Funeral Goat, which was like a basic Von Beherit tribute thing. And we got a record deal with Demon Worship Productions from America. And I was like, oh yeah, we have this other project called Verbum Virus, and I just sent him some files to listen to, and he was like, wow, I really want to release this. And we were like, oh, okay. We never planned on releasing anything, but then we recorded an album, and he released that, and that was that basically. We did quite a bunch of gigs with, for instance, Svarti Dowdy from Iceland, and some cool festivals. But then, well, we basically concentrated on different musical projects. Well, because we did what we wanted to do with the music, and yeah, that's basically I think it kind of ended. So
are the is the physical recording of the Verbum Vera stuff, is it still available, or is it all out of print?
I think there's still some stuff to be found in distros here and there. The thing is that the Demon Worship Productions, the guy vanished. He had like a really nice label going on.
Okay.
People were really enthusiastic. He had great bands on there like Nightbringer, Svarti Dödi, Doods Engel, Devouring Star. And once, all of a sudden, he was gone.
Okay.
And there was like a mail from his wife saying that he was really ill, and that's the last thing anyone has ever heard. So, and well, he lived in the States, so half the stock we have of Verbum Virus, but also Ibex Angel Order and Funeral Goat, it's somewhere in the States in a warehouse gathering dust.
Okay, so the funeral goat thing, did that turn into anything, or did it go anywhere? Or
It turned on. It turned into Ibex Angel Order
oh, okay.
because
So tell us a little bit
it was
about Ibex Angel then.
yeah. Well, it was fun to do the funeral goat thing because we're both big fans of the really primitive black metal stuff, and we're like, okay, let's do like a real fun style album. So we'll do short songs. They'll have 2 riffs. Each riff will have like a maximum of 3 notes or chords, and a really primitive lyrics. And
And black metal as well.
yeah. Really primitive black metal. And so we recorded the album and released it, and it was actually quite successful, maybe.
Mhm.
People liked it, let me put it like that. And well, we were like feeling a bit restrained after that, because when we started rehearsing, riffs just started flowing, and they were like more complicated or different to the 3 chord short song formula we made up. So it's like, okay, let's let that go. And I really wanted to do more serious lyrics too, which reflected my own occult leanings and spirituality a lot more.
Yeah, that's something I want to get into a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So we decided, like, okay, let's change this funeral goat thing into something way more serious, and it needed a new name. So after some brainstorming, we came up with Ibex Angel Order, and well, started rehearsing, and in no time we had like an album. And luckily we could still release that on the Demon Worship label. And he did like a beautiful gatefold and CD. It's on tape. It's on everything. And then that guy was gone, but we did manage to release a 10-inch a while ago on on 4 labels at once, because they joined forces. It's Fan Records, Heiden's Hart from the Netherlands, it's a great label, and Territorial Possessions, and I believe Fallen Temple from Poland. They well, they basically united, and because they all liked what we did. Like, it was like 2 songs, 10 minutes. And we're all like, oh, it's quite expensive to release like a 10-inch. But we're like, well, if we all share in the costs, then we can still bring this thing on a physical format, because they all really liked it. So I'm really happy it's still it got made, and it's still available through it. And so that's still together with Abysmal Darkening, my main activity, I guess, musically.
How many people are in Ibex?
Oh, that's just me and the drummer, Ludus, who I've been making music with since 1997.
Okay.
And it's just, the 2 of us. I do the guitar and vocals, and write the music, and he drums his heart out. And we've thought about like maybe getting a bass player or a second guitarist, but it wouldn't feel right. There's no one who can fit into that chemistry we have, because, well, we've been playing for over 20 years together, and then bringing someone new in there would be really difficult. So just the 2 of us, and it works great in a live situation too. So we'll stick to a duo.
Yeah, I had seen some photos of you that you'd uploaded from some of the shows from Little Devil, and yeah, that's pretty cool. And so tell me a little bit about Abysmal Darkening. How did that come about?
It was actually started by my wife, by Femke.
Okay.
I think also like almost 2004 or 5, something like that. And well, basically they made like some kind of dark doom stuff. But it had a lot of lineup changes. In the end, they really couldn't find a vocalist, and they couldn't find a guitar player. and the other two band members, which is again Ludus, the drummer I've been always working with, and Saskia, a friend of ours. They were like, well, ask Kevin if he wants to join, because he can play guitar, he can do vocals, and so it was up to Femke. She had some doubts because, of course, being husband and wife and being in the same band, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's actually worked out pretty good. And well, it started out more doomy, but now we're more leaning towards atmospheric black metal-ish
Black metal-ish.
influences. Yeah. I don't want to call it black metal, because for me, black metal has a certain ideology behind it. And
Right.
Abysmal Darkening is for me more. The lyrics lately are more about our home soil, about ancestry, about feeling connected to your surroundings, nature, that kind of stuff, which I don't think, for me, it doesn't fit into me. So
Yeah, I can feel you on that one. Yeah. I definitely have my own opinions about how the black metal scene's going, and so we can.
yeah, I know.
We can talk about that later if we want to get dangerous, Which this is a really good point where I can throw into that. This is actually how we met. Was that I actually contacted you because of Abysmal Darkening, and I had found you on the internet when I was searching for bands for my festival that I did here in Dusseldorf, which was the Black Chrome Disco. And yeah, and that was, geez, what was that? Like 2006, something like that? 2007, 2006, 2007?
Maybe.
Or
I don't know.
2016.
16,
I mean, 16.
17.
Yeah, 16, 17. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
God, I'm making myself older than I am by adding on 10 years. Right. Yeah, making us older. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So, how was that for you? That whole 3-day festival experience. I mean, you didn't stay for the whole 3 days. You were only there for the 1 day, and
that was a good day.
Being that you were playing in a really heavy doom act, how was it for you being on stage with so many different types of music?
I actually really liked it. Because even though all the music was very different, the people were well, maybe they had like the same vibe, same feeling. We actually made a bunch of friends then, which we still have contact with. The guys in Lung, for instance.
Yeah. Boy, that's a band that really, that's a shame that they broke up, man, because they were such a great band.
Really a shame.
Yeah.
But we actually played some shows with them, and
yeah, that's cool.
And the Serpent Eater guys, I got them in Tilburg with Morast, their other band, and it was pretty cool to see other people, because all the bands were really passionate that were playing, and I think that's what always attracts me to a certain kind of music. I don't care about technical skills or whatever. I just want to hear passion in music, and I think all bands had that day. So it was really a good day, and you were a great host as well.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and
I definitely wasn't fishing for any compliments on that.
No, but you were, and it was good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, which leads me to the second band, which we got to work together with, is your stoner rock band, Gigatron 2000.
Yes,
indeed. Tell me a little bit about that, and what are your influences? What got you into doing that? Because stoner rock is such a. I mean, even though it has a little bit of a connection to doom and the heavy riffs and whatnot. It's such a wildly different direction from black metal or
that's true. Yeah,
just this really misanthropic hateful, you know,
Yeah, almost the
and
complete opposite. Yeah. Well, um, I used to play in a doom band called Bunker, which was really, really heavy, slow stuff. Um, and I started listening to stuff like Electric Wizard, but also Goat Snake, and well, got into stoner from there. My wife Femke was also a big stoner rock fan, also, and a lot of her friends were too. Um, I also started to go to a festival like Roadburn with them,
Mhm.
and the first band I really liked back when I was a kid, next to Iron Maiden, was like Black Sabbath, and
For sure.
well, stoner rock is basically still Black Sabbath, only
Yeah.
then a bit fuzzier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's always my litmus test for people if I can have conversation with them, if they like Black Sabbath or if they don't like Black Sabbath.
yeah, well, they should, because rule. So so I always liked stoner rock. I even became like a DJ at Roadburn, which I still am, because I could like do the stoner rock set, but I could also mix metal in there and black metal because, like I said, I listen to emotion and intent in music, and that makes you able to mix genres in a way that other people wouldn't. Um, well, at one point, the Sauron, the black metal band, stopped because we had Verbus Verum going and Ibex Angel, and I found myself being a guitar player in all the bands I was in. But I started out as a bass player. I had my Rickenbacker bass, really proud of that thing, and I really missed playing the bass. And two friends of mine, Kevin and Saban, uh, they were like, "Yeah, we're thinking about starting like an instrumental stoner band, like Karma to Burn, that kind of stuff. Do you want to join on bass?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because he has his own. Kevin has his own studio and his own rehearsal room. It was just a great way to have some fun and make some music and still play bass. And I could finally unleash my inner Geezer Butler.
Who were,
And
I mean, obviously besides Black Sabbath, who were some of your really big influences as far as like stoner rock riffs and bass in general? How did you, what was your influence to start bass, or was it really Geezer Butler, or tell me a little bit
yeah,
about
Geezer
what
Butler was really a big example for me. He was like, he still is. He's like God to me. He's
yeah.
the big there. But also black metal wise, B War from Marduk was like fantastic. Bass lines go all through the music in ways that you normally don't really hear in black metal. And I guess even Varg Vikernes, like when he did play the bass on De Mysteriis Dom Satanas by Mayhem, and there are some really good bass lines on there. So those were my influences for the black metal stuff. And for writing riffs for Gigatron, it's Black Sabbath. Goat Snake is a big influence for me. Acrimony, I really, really, really can't stress enough that Humili Shroom Room is like the ultimate stoner album ever. And of course, Karma to Burn. We all really like Karma to Burn. I'm a big Caius fan as well. The other guys, not so much. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mix from all those styles. And
Now,
yeah, well,
Gigatron is a instrumental
yeah,
group. No vocals.
no, true. When we started, we didn't like decide to be an instrumental band per se, but we didn't know anyone who could like with a good enough voice. And so we're like, okay, maybe we could look for a singer, but let's just start writing music. And because we were writing with no singer in mind, with no vocals in mind, the songs became, well, actually, they were like finished products. without the vocals. So we had like, I think 1 or maybe 2 rehearsals with a singer from Tilburg who's really good, really good. He used to sing in a band called Yama. But he was his wife became pregnant and he became a father, so he was like, hey, no, I'm gonna kind of pass on this. And then we decided, like, okay, let's just be an instrumental band then. Well, we never regretted the decision. It's been been going great, and especially I think you can hear it more on the second album. That we're more the first one, there could be vocals on there maybe. The second one is really, I think it would be difficult for someone to even sing on it now. So instrumental minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's why we don't have a singer.
When you guys started out doing the instrumental stuff, was there any kind of like a mathematical equation that you guys wanted to follow, or was there like, or were there any other 3-piece instrumental bands that influenced you at the time?
Mainly Carmen to Burn was
Okay.
the big example, and well, the guitar player died last week or 2 weeks ago, which is really sad.
I saw something about that.
Yeah, because they were one of the greatest live bands also.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times now, and they're fantastic. Every single time that I saw them, they were
so great. And
really nice guys.
Yeah, also.
You know, just like so down to earth and so easy to talk to, and just chill, and coming out to the audience and watching the bands with you, and just standing there and chilling and drinking. Well, that's, you know, no rock star
really
bullshit at all. You know?
No, that's really I really liked it about them, and so they were a really, really huge influence on us. And for the rest, it's just it's what comes out during rehearsals, just jam. And well, Sarban, when he starts drumming, it's always on point, and just what comes out basically. And well, there's always this, I guess, Karma to Burn playing in the back of your mind somewhere. But for the rest, it's just what it comes out.
Okay, so who is Hair AIDS?
Basically my alter ego, I guess.
Tell me about it. Who is this guy, and where does this guy come from?
Well, there was when I was playing in this doom band called Bunker, and I was also still in Sauron. A friend of mine, he organized a festival called Ashes to Ashes, Doom to Dust, and the intention was to have like only the most extreme doom metal bands play there, and worked out quite well. But a friend of ours, Jimmy Blitzer, who people might know from Faust, he was like, well, I want to play in this festival too, but I don't have a doom band yet. So he made up this band called Planet AIDS, and it's like, you're gonna sing in it. Okay. And
what kind of music is it?
I needed a name, so that's why I was called Herr AIDS. I was like kind of a preacher.
Okay.
Standing behind this pedestal and shouting at the audience. And
so what kind of music is it?
It's drone industrial noise. It's really ugly, hideous music. Actually, I wasn't the only vocalist. The guy that organized the festival, Manuel, was a great artist. He was also screaming his lungs out on stage next to me. Well, that's basically how I got the name. And I've been using it in most of my, the music where my shadow side comes out. That's when I call myself R8, I guess.
Do you guys plan to do anything again, or was it just a one-off?
Well, we actually released like a mini album way back on Go to War X. even before the first Wolffaust album, but on the same label. And shortly after that, we recorded like something new, and that got like forgotten for ages, but it has been released half a year ago on the same Go to Warx label on vinyl, but I don't think there will ever be any activity with that band again, because people moved halfway across the country, and we did do some gigs back then. We even like played with Reverend Bizarre, and I think with Esoteric, with Moss, Wormflam, you know, really, really extreme bands. And that one,
I had Moss out here once for a show.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, they were good. They changed their style a bit later on when the singer started singing more like in the traditional Doom vein. But when we played, there was still like this demo band with, you know, one BPM Doom with just agonized screams, and that was basically it. And, yeah, there was like a period when Doom wasn't a big thing, because now it's quite well known. And then it was like when the entire European Doom scene turned up, it was like 300 people. And yeah, and some people were more into the traditional stuff, and others were into really the most fucked up, heavy, ugly stuff possible.
You know, actually,
I was one of those people.
Actually, our friends Lung opened up for that Moss gig.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were super excited. They were like, yes, absolutely, we're in. So that was a fun night. It was a fun night.
Yeah.
So now bringing all this music together, I'm, you know, again, aside from the stoner rock band Gigatron 2000, I'm assuming that all of this music has some kind of a deep personal meaning for you, as it does with every musician. But just knowing you as a person and as a friend of mine for all these years, do you feel comfortable talking about the spirituality aspect of the background of the music, or is that something we can touch on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Maybe not everything, but I think yeah, sure.
Well, you know, just, you know, touch on the things you're comfortable with, you know, and, you know, I'm not going to push you in any directions you're not comfortable with, you know.
Okay. It's a bit of there's two sides to my spirituality, I guess. On the one hand, I'm quite into the Germanic, paganism, maybe. I like history. I like my ancestors. I like to celebrate nature. I like to celebrate moments in the natural cycle, like midwinter or midsummer. So my active spirituality for the last years is basically more pagan, but I come from a real more left-hand path background. When I was really young, when I was really young, like 12 maybe, I was always searching my library for magic books.
Yeah.
Should they exist or not? And one of the first things I read was the Satanic Bible, but that wasn't, it didn't do it for me. So then I went searching for other stuff, read some Wicca stuff, did some rituals in that vein, but it wasn't my thing. It was way too white, light-hearted. And that got me on the path of searching more obscure stuff and basically experimenting. So with Sumerian magic, Sumerian demons, that kind of stuff. the dark side of Kabbalah. So for my shadow self, which I think is a really important part of every person, I turn to that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's what I express with Ibex Angel Order, I think, with my black metal stuff.
Yeah.
And for my not shadow self, so my lighter self, I more like ancestor worship, and celebrating nature. And that's something I express more with Abysmal Darkening, at least with the latest we do.
Yeah. So I can understand your ambivalence of not wanting to go into the black metal direction with Abysmal Darkening, because it really doesn't tie in, you know. And
No,
that's kind of
not for me anyway.
Yeah.
There's people who are of quite a different opinion about what black metal should be about, but well,
it's one of the things I always
should be
had a
sinister. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things I always had a problem with when I was doing the Occult Sabbath gigs, was that there was too much of the black metal influence in those gigs, and it really wasn't so focused on spirituality as I wanted it to be, you know.
Yeah.
But the gigs were always great, and the people were always cool. But yeah, I started studying, you know, when I was probably, I don't know, 18 or 19. And I started studying more in the direction of like the Bhagavad Gita and Hindu philosophy and all of that. And then later on, as years went on, I started to read people like Kenneth Grant and Aleister Crowley, Austin Osman Spare, all his poetry and things like that, automatic writing, sigil. I started studying sigils for and I think I've studied sigils now for probably a good 25 years. And you know, and
I'm also really into sigil magic, by the way. That's one of the things I experienced most power with, or the most effect. You know? Sigil magic's something I design a lot of sigils as well, but also like symbols for my band. It's each band has a symbol, and I don't know, man. Symbols are a big thing for me.
Yeah,
I'm really,
it is
deeply into symbolism.
Yeah, symbolism is really a big important thing for me too, because for me it really it's a much better way of exercising psychology and philosophy, better than what modern psychology actually can offer itself, in my opinion. And it's
I think you might be right. Yeah,
you know, it's the process of connecting your thoughts and then creating this physical form, and then being able to implement that physical form into your everyday life or your everyday wishes, you know. And it seems always funny now today, because it seems almost kitsch to use the word magic now today, you know, because because it's, you know, it's become such a kitschy type thing. But I still hold pretty fast and true to the ideals behind it all, you know. And so if I can move on to maybe the next thing, because, you know, you're a live performer. Sure. How important is the spirituality in the live performance and the whole stage presentation? How important is that for you?
For Ibex Angel Order, and also for, in the past, Verbum Verum, it's really important, because this shadow self doesn't just come out when I snap my fingers. I really need to force that out. And having incense, which I always make myself, and using blood, and I have this right here. I always open my shows blowing on this, which is a Kangling, which I made myself from a human femur. For all actions I need to get in touch with this shadow side, which I want to, well, I want to give room to that shadow self to show itself, to express itself. And that's why I use incense and blood and candles. We have banners on stage with sigils I made, and it's not for show. I don't really care what anyone thinks about those things. They think, oh well, it adds to the atmosphere or not. It's really there to focus this darkness, this energy, to, well, sort of open a portal for me. So that's why it's important for me. And with Abysmal Darkening, I don't do that because I express something completely different. And with Gigatron, well, that's a whole different thing. I mean, that's just playing for fun, there's no spiritual expression in the music.
Yeah, when I first got... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Yeah, when I first got involved, we're both, ping pong.
Yeah.
When I first got involved in the occult Sabbath gigs, that's something I really had to question myself and ask myself if I was really ready to, embrace all of that studying that I had over those 20 some odd years. And because I didn't want to go into the thing as a showman, I didn't want it to be some kind of like, shtick, some kind of vaudeville kind of type thing, and kind of one of the reasons I got out of the scene was because it started kind of turning into a vaudeville kind of, Mickey Mouse, dancing on the stage kind of type thing. And, I don't know how the scene has been for the last couple of years because the Corona issue, and there have been no live acts, and so there have been no live music and stuff. But it was really important for me too, though. It was really important that it really wasn't about what the people thought about it. It was really how I felt about it, and it was what my connection was. And I think that like the first time that you and I met, that came across pretty clear with both of us. That we were both we weren't trying to be showmen. We were actually
not at all.
Really deep spiritual people who had a real touch with our own inner selves and our own spirituality and our own beliefs. And we wanted to bring that out, through the music and through the passion of not only the musicians, but also the audience and the people who are there to partake in what we're trying to do. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because I really don't care if about like things like if people like my band or buy my stuff. I don't care. I just want to be like, but my music is always honest. Whatever I do is honest. I don't do stuff because I think that maybe more people will like this. Because I really don't care. I don't.
Nor should
you. No, because when you start catering to other people, that's mostly when musical integrity is lost, and that's when I lose interest myself in bands and music.
Yes, and that's where the term selling out comes from and all that, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Excellent. So turning to a little bit of a lighter topic, you said before, you mentioned that you live in Tilburg, and Tilburg has now become kind of a sort of mini music mecca, where it basically turns into this rock and roll heaven, or should I say rock and roll heaven and hell,
Yeah, both.
for a weekend. And you said that you DJ.
Yeah.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit of how did that come about? How did you get involved with Roadburn? Because I mean, you said before that you'd been going to Roadburn and so on. You know, you've been involved with all these bands, and so how did you get involved being the DJ there?
Well, first off, I've been going for ever since it's at the venue it is in now, the 013 venue, and it was really a small fest then. It was like one night at 4 bands maybe, and it got bigger every year. And I already knew the organizer, Walter, because he's one of the nicest guys on earth. And well, when it's like a small thing going on, you meet everyone there. So, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it sold out for the first time ever. Because I think it was when he got Celtic Frost on the bill, and I was at another show at 013 where I was already DJing, because I've been, doing metal DJing at Little Devil Bar in Tilburg a lot, and also at the 013 venue. And I met Walter again. I was like, well, what the fuck, man? It's sold out. I don't have a ticket. And that was also the year Goatsnake was playing, who I hadn't seen live ever. Like, now what? And he was like, well, you're a DJ, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, then you'll be the DJ. Because we have like a DJ team, and I'll stick you with some Finnish guys, and you can be a DJ, and you'll be at Fest anyway. And, well, that's 11 years ago, and I've been a DJ every year now. And,
so for the whole last 11 years, you've been DJing for Roadburn.
Yeah. And we also started hosting bands every year. We already did that in the past, for example, that really heavy doom festival. But with Roadburn coming a multi-day festival, well, bands want to hang around, and we always opened up our house to one band. Of course, we got children along the way, but my wife's parents live close by, and they mark their calendar every year for Roadburn, and our kids go stay with their grandparents for 4 days, and we get a band in here, and it's always fantastic. You meet the greatest people, and there's never been any bad experience whatsoever. It's always been fantastic.
So where do you DJ? Do you DJ in like one of the big halls, or do you DJ in several different bars, or?
Yeah, well, to keep it interesting for us as DJs, because we're I think a 6 or 7 man team. One day I'll be DJing in the large hall, and the other day I'll be in the lobby, and then one day I'll be in the small venue, and we'll just trade places.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm basically I'm DJing everywhere. Only just you're in one place for one day, and then the next day you're somewhere else, which is also nice. And because I know Walter so well, he's a good friend, and he knows exactly what bands I like, which kind of like or maybe not. So he always puts me in the venue where most bands that day that I would want to see are playing, that I can have a chill day, play some music, see all the bands I like, and have a great time, basically.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's not really bound to what kind of music's playing, because I can do anything from old school hip hop to black metal, death metal, grindcore, 70s psychedelic, whatever. I can do anything. Because I like a lot of different music, or stuff like folk, or the more stuff like Wardruna or whatever. I can DJ anywhere.
That's cool. That's one thing that you and I share, is a love of old school hip hop.
Yeah. My brother, when I was, I think I was 14 years old or something. My brother's older than I am. Um, he went to the States actually to work there for half a year. He did. He was like, what do you call it, counselor or something at these summer camps you guys have in the States.
Yeah.
He was like, and he came back from the States and he brought like NWA and Ice Cube and Public Enemy and all that stuff because it was getting big over there, but here we've never heard something like that. And he played it at home, and I was like, "Holy shit! These
Great.
guys are hard, man. What's this? Yeah,
This is awesome.
It was really extreme. Yeah, it's really awesome. So, yeah, I've always had a thing for the old school hip hop, and yeah, I've always been following it like on the background, and I still like it. I've always been more into the metal stuff because it's more where I can, of course, yeah, it's more a fulfilling thing for me spiritually. But the hip hop is pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, now that I've got this Zoom thing figured out, I think I'm going to start doing some DJ sets. And I was watching a lot of Grandmaster Flash stuff
awesome.
since they put that miniseries on Netflix called The Get
Oh,
Down.
that's great.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And ever since I saw that, I've been like really getting into my old hip hop records and my old hip hop CDs. I think you saw last week, I was listening to a bunch of hip hop last week.
yeah.
And, you know, Ice-T and Public Enemy, Third Base,
I love that stuff.
know, all the classics, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and also my youngest Seth, he's really into the hip hop as well.
Yeah.
Actually, and well, he started off as being a really big My Dying Bride fan because you know that's what his parents listened to. But at the skate park, they played a lot of hip hop, and it's like, yeah, I like this hip hop. And I went like, oh, really? Well, then sit down and let me educate you.
Yes.
Because you don't want to listen to all this new Dutch crap.
Right.
Horrible. And now he agrees with me that, you know, the old school
Yeah,
stuff
that's the problem
better.
I'm having. Yeah. That's the problem I'm having with my kid right now is he's really into the German new stuff, you know? And I'm like, man, come on. That's not hip hop. Let me show you the real
it's
stuff.
not good. And yeah, well, there are some Dutch rappers who are actually really good.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is that everyone hates those guys because they're quite extreme, and they are like a big walking middle finger to all the popular rappers because these guys can actually rap. They always win every rap battle they do, and
okay,
well, you know, they don't sing about big cars and girls and that kind of their life is. And rappers like Steen, Spinal, AZK, which EZG, they're really they have great beats, great flow. These guys are awesome, but they're being like spat on a bit, but I don't care.
Yeah, I haven't been introduced to any real German hip hop. You know, most of the new German stuff is really just this kind of gangster, you know, bitches and money and cars and, you know,
and a lot of auto-tune
and all that
vocals.
Shit, you know.
Yeah.
It's just you know, not my niveau, as the Germans would say, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, here it's also a thing that like you have to add a lot of auto-tune on your voice, apparently.
Right. I hate
so it sounds horrible.
Yeah, it sounds like crap.
Yeah, yeah.
And you as a vocalist, you know, it must make you sick, you know, to hear that auto-tune, you know.
It's horrible. It's just horrible.
Yeah, you know, you know, just to make a joke about black metal, you know, I'm waiting for auto-tune black metal, you know.
You know what? I think it should be out there somewhere. There's such bizarre stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody that's doing it, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere. Yeah.
So you know, speaking about Roadburn and Little Devil. Tell us a little bit about Little Devil. You know, what's your relationship with Little Devil? Tell us your story there.
Well, it's the best little metal bar in the entire world, of course. Well, they when I was young and went out in the town, there was this alternative bar called Ecstasy. And they played like grunge and that kind of stuff. So that's the only place we could go, being metalheads. For the rest, it was all Euro house, do unlimited kind of stuff. And but we never really fit in there because, well, we were into more heavy stuff basically. And then these two guys from Breda, from a different city, bought a bar, and the Little Devil, that's what they called it. And it went, yeah, we're a rock and metal bar. And then we were like, okay, let's check it out. So we basically took like our entire group of friends, like I think we were 40 people, and we just went to the bar, and whatever we asked, they like, yeah, can you play, I don't know, Sepultura? And they, oh, sure, man, we have that. And can you play some Dark Throne? Yeah, sure, man, no problem. So that was, yeah, well, we never experienced anything like that. So we just stuck around, and Little Devil still going strong. And actually, I got married there. Well, I got married at the stadhuis, the townhouse, we had our wedding party there with 3 bands, 2 local bands, and Ataraxie from France.
That's awesome.
Is complete. Yeah, wedding is complete without a funeral doom band, right? And well, they started booking, I think, 2 years after they started, and they started putting on like 1 band a week, I think, and they always wanted to keep it free, so they had like punk bands or metal bands or rock bands. But the thing is that their sound engineers are like really, really good, and the way they treat the bands is really, really good. So more bands wanted to play there, and more and more and more, and it turned into a venue where you can see bands 3 times a week sometimes, and even big bands want to play there. Still a small venue, but like UK subs played there.
Yeah, cool.
Paul Diano from Iron Maiden. But also we did some bookings ourselves with me and 2 friends, more black metal shows.
Mm-hmm.
And we get like Horna to play there, and that kind of stuff. And let's see, Exhumed, I Hate God, Incantation, Immolation, you name it, it's played there because everyone likes the atmosphere, and it's just the sound is always fantastic, and the crowd is always great. So basically it's the best bar ever.
Yeah, Immolation played at Little Devil?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but
wow,
that's also it has a lot to do with the guy that used to do the Neurotic Death Fest in the Netherlands. He always goes to the Little Devil. So and when he's now working at the O13 venue. So when bands come to him like, yeah, man, we just want to play in Tilburg, and he knows that this is a band that won't draw like 3,000 people, then he, put them in Little Devil, and well, the weirdest stuff has there, man. I've even seen Iron Butterfly at the Little Devil.
Wow.
Yeah. With my father-in-law.
Wow.
He was like, Iron Butterfly are playing?
Like, wow. Yeah, that's not a small band.
No. So it's just best place ever. And they have a great selection of whiskeys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had a blast when I came out to visit you, and you know, when I was there and saw those few bands there, um, and that little festival that you took me to when we were there.
Oh yeah, the
And
Incubate
so
Fest.
you know, I was able to see some of the bars and some of Tilburg while I was there, some of the city center and whatnot. I had a blast. Everybody was so nice to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's everyone's welcome at the Little Devil Bar. It doesn't, even if you, I don't know, if you like jazz or whatever, they don't care. As long as you're, you know, a genuine person, just an honest, genuine guy, then you'll have a great time there. You know,
Yeah, see,
you'll
I
have
felt
friends in
that.
no time.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
I was there,
yeah.
I really felt that come across, you know, that it wasn't like it was kind of like, it wasn't a scene, you know, it was just like
Oh,
people hanging out. It was a bar and we're just having a good time. We're drinking. And there wasn't any
yeah.
kind of like, you know, like, hey, look at my battle jacket or look at my black leather jacket, or
No,
it
no.
was just people were cool. People
Yeah,
were just
yeah. We don't.
genuinely nice.
Yeah, that's it. There's no pretense going on.
Mhm.
There's no haughty look at me stuff. No one cares, man.
Mm.
That's a great thing also with all the bands that play, there is no backstage. So, you know, they're always in the bar,
Right.
and that also shows you quite quickly which bands are assholes and which aren't. 'Cause-
Right. Right. And that was one of the yeah, yeah. I can tell you what, man. Yeah, that really does definitely show you who are the fucking prima donnas and who are the cool ones.
Yep,
Because my
indeed.
experience when I was doing shows here over that 5-year period, my God, you know, the personalities that like bands project in the media and then
Uh-huh.
who they actually are in person.
There's
Oh,
quite a big
holy
difference.
fuck, man.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah,
name
that's
any
true.
names, but there was one band, and this guy was such, he thought, I swear to God, he fucking acted like he was David Gilmour, you know? Thought it like he was, well, he wasn't a gentleman like David Gilmour, but he acted like he was some kind of, you know,
Really
fucking,
big. Yeah.
you know, rock god. And my my assistant, the guy who was helping me put on the show, came up to me like halfway through the show and he's like, you know, the band hadn't even gone on yet, you know, and he's like, man, I'm gonna kick the fuck out of that guy if I fucking have to look at him one more time. And I was like, well, I was like, well, please don't do it. You know, we still have a show to do, you know,
Uh-huh.
and you know,
You know, at the O13 venue, at the loading dock, they had this huge banner which said, "We fucked up bigger shows than yours." That was their message to anyone who played there. It's like, yeah, I don't care who you are. You fucked up a bigger show than yours.
right.
You're
Yeah.
lucky, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can definitely feel it. Yeah.
you're still just a guy playing some music, and you're not God. Yeah,
You know,
that's the vibe in Tilburg, I guess. But
speaking
go
of,
on. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, go on.
No, no. What did you say before? I missed it. Sorry, I was
Oh well,
interjecting.
that's the Tilburg state of mind, I guess. Like, you know, no one's if you make cool music, that's cool, but that doesn't make you like God like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and that's one band that I will name by names is Gotus, you know. And that's one of the reasons that me and Krita stayed friends for so long, was because he just was a genuinely human, nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a real, he's the closest thing to an actual living elf that you can get, you know. And he's just the most lovable, cuddly, nice human guy. And he you know, anything he ever does in the future. And Tommy Erickson from Saturnalia Temple,
Yeah.
so down to earth and so nice and just genuinely cool. And there's just no pretentious bullshit with any of those guys. And
No, there
you know,
shouldn't be, man.
lots of good memories, lots of really good memories.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the, yeah, yeah, no, yeah. That's one of the things I really like about this being a host for bands. I mean, we had like Oransi Pazuzu, and they're some of the best people I know.
Great band.
And from also they're
Yeah.
truly mind blowing. That's not
Yeah.
a term I use lightly, but
Yeah.
holy fucking shit. They're really cool people. Also, the guys from Uden from Iceland, they're fantastic. And you make real connections when you have people staying in your house for 3 or 4 days. And those connections don't fade. Like the worst thing for me about Roadburn being canceled now twice because of the COVID stuff is not missing bands, but it's missing those people. Like if we just could like get together in a bar and no bands were playing, but then I would still have like the time of my life with those, that's what I miss way more than seeing a band or whatever. Just connecting with these friends, which don't live in the Netherlands, but all over the world.
Yeah, if I could snap my fingers and just like bring all those really cool people all into one place for my 50th birthday, that would be like the gift that I would want, but speaking of having people stay at your house, and spending the night, the relationship that I never ever thought in my life that I would build was with the mentors.
Yeah.
Never in my life. I mean, when I was young and they started the PMRC and they had the hearings in the United States about labeling music and all that, and the mentors were brought up as like, the sleaze rock and all that stuff, and then the Kurt and Courtney thing with El Duce and all that. And just the history of the mentors and all of that stuff, and Gigi Allen and all that. And then here, out of the fucking blue, I'm producing their show and they're sleeping on my fucking floor,
Yeah.
And, and I thought about it afterwards and I was like, God, I missed my opportunity to have a real conversation about really the history of like, of really who they were. And like, really that whole chaos of the PMRC, that whole chaos of the Kurt and Courtney thing. And, if there was a time that I should have had a podcast, it would have been then, because that would have been just wild, because it's, you miss those moments that you don't think about it till like it's gone. And, but yeah, Steve and Eric, they're good friends of mine still and we were in contact. And I never thought I'd ever be friends with the mentors. It's just one of those crazy things,
True.
Speaking about Roadburn and DJing and Little Devil and Tilburg itself, and how has festival life impacted Tilburg as a city?
Quite a lot. Because we don't only have like Roadburn, there's also Wuha, which is the biggest hip hop festival in Europe. We used to have a festival Mundial, which was like a world music festival. We have the largest traveling fair in this part of Europe each year. So there's always something going on, and it's always like a festival thing going on. So a lot of the hotels and hostels and stuff, well, we don't get tourists because our city is so beautiful, because it isn't. We have a lot of really hideous modern buildings, but people come here for the music, for the festivals, and so the hotels, the hostels, that's their income. They need these festivals, especially when Roadburn comes. The entire city embraces this tribe of, bearded ruffians. They're there's like restaurants which are close to the venue have like Roadburn menus with I don't know, an I Hate God burger and
Nice.
the Neurosis chili con carne, whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really big deal for Tilburg. But for the rest, we're mostly an industrial town, so it's great that this music culture brings people here, and you actually see the city changing because of it. There's a lot more room for culture being made also, and so yeah, and especially Roadburn, because it's such a big international thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 4,000 people. It's not like Wacken Open Air, which brings 200,000 people into a small town. But it's because it's cutting edge, prestigious festival where, which gets really picked up even by national press and stuff like that. And it has a huge impact on the city, and it's a good thing, because else it would be pretty fucking boring over here, I guess. Yeah, it would be just your standard small town with 200,000 people and a bunch of factories.
Yeah, because that was the question I wanted to ask, was about, like, is the city embracing it? And so, like, it's really good to hear that the restaurants and whatnot, like, are adding the special menus and, kind of like really, putting their arms around the whole thing. And, because, when you throw 4,000 big old hairy Viking looking motherfuckers, drinking and boozing through the street, and smoking weed all day, it can be intimidating,
Yeah, but here people are, they know who these guys are, and they know they're just like basically the sweetest people you can meet.
And that's the truth,
Yeah,
that's such a misconception about our scene, is that everybody's just like, evil child killing devil worshippers that, get naked in the forest. Well, maybe they do get naked in the forest, but
yeah, well, okay.
But we're just, I would say good 80 to 90% of the people are really just teddy bears,
Yeah,
they just like to drink and hang out and smoke weed and have fun and have a good time.
Yeah, mostly they're also like quite intelligent people also.
Yeah.
They don't break stuff or steal stuff, they're just good, nice people. And I think that in the first years, other normal people were like a bit like, oh, what are all these black clad guys doing over here? But as soon as they got a sense of the vibe of the festival, they were like, oh, these are just great people, so we'll welcome them, and we'll do anything we can to make them feel at home. So imagine going by train to Tilburg to visit Roadburn. The moment you get out on the station, there's like a line of flags pointing you to the Roadburn flags, pointing you to the venue. And the entire town is just part of it. And that's I think another thing which makes it like special, because it's not like you're walking around and people are looking like you, like, look at this scum. They're like, oh, this guy's going to Roadburn, man. Cool. Everyone knows why you're there, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for one of the elusive tickets. They always sell out so fast, and they're so damn expensive, so
that's another thing.
Yeah.
Well, you did get a little taste this year with the live stream festival thing.
Yeah, and that was cool, man. That really turned me on. I'm really thankful that you turned me on to that link, man. Because,
yeah,
man, I watched probably about 4 or 5 hours worth of shows on there, and the Nest presentation was fucking great, absolutely great.
Yeah.
And there were several other bands on there that escape my mind, with names and stuff right now, but bands I'd never heard before, and names that I have written down, and I'm going to add to my playlists and stuff. And
yeah, well, that's actually, it was quite close to the Roadburn experience for me, even just sitting at home, because everyone was on the chat, and the bands were just, each and every band was, that's the thing about Roadburn. Each band always tries to play their best show ever. It's never, oh, hi, where are we now? Okay, well, let's do this. It's always completely on point. And even in this digital thing, bands were still giving their all. And I didn't see a single bad set. What almost all of them were all great. And indeed, it's just, what the fuck is this? Tau? I've never heard of Tau before.
Yeah, that was one of the bands that I really liked, was that band Tau. Yeah, they were good.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And this guy from Planet just comes out and plays his tin flute with those guys. It's like, well, what the fuck's going on over here? It was awesome. And that's the thing about Roadburn. You always discover new bands and new music. And a thing you see is that people going there for the first time, or maybe for the second time, they really wait for the time schedule to be released, and then they do puzzle, like which band will I see and stuff. But the best thing is just to let it go and walk in to any venue where something's playing, and I can guarantee you it's always going to be a band playing their heart out and being great. Yeah, that's the thing about Roadburn. There's no mediocrity or insincere going. Always people screaming their hearts out. And that's great.
I haven't seen a live band in so long. The last live band I went to see was Neurosis when they last came through, and
oh, wow.
And it was a really, really good. Deaf Kids opened up for them. Another Neurot Records band.
Yeah.
And they were really super cool. And I got to actually talk to the guys from Deaf Kids at the end of the show. And the whole band was at the merch table, and they were chatting it up with everybody, super nice. And but I think that was the last live show I saw before, like, my business went bankrupt, because I just there was just no cash left,
Yeah, I think the last thing I saw is like when we did like this Corona seated show for like 30 people, and then there was another band playing. And that was the last band I saw. But yeah, it's been so long.
Yeah.
To see, really going to see a band you really like.
Yeah, it's sad.
I do miss it.
It's sad to think about it, because like,
it is.
Live music was such a big part of both of our lives, it was like,
oh yes, absolutely.
It's like just like living and breathing it, I mean, there were times when I was doing shows, I was literally working 7 days a week. If I wasn't like actually at the show, I was online booking, planning, shopping, preparing, whatever.
Yeah, same for me when I was still booking at little level. It was, you're either going to a show, or you're contacting people, or you're arranging for equipment or whatever. And well, now it's just nothing. We can't even rehearse. So yeah.
It is pretty sad. So speaking of COVID, you said that you personally, you got ill.
Yeah, true. Or I got tested positive. That's basically it. I had a bit like a scratchy throat, a bit of a dry cough. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I should get tested, and I tested positive. And
but Femke not.
Well, luckily, no, no. I had to isolate myself in my own house, so I couldn't sleep in the same bed as my wife. I slept in this small room which I'm in now, which is
Yeah.
basically my study, and I put a mattress on the floor, and that was it. Um, but no, the wife and kids, they've been tested in the period that I was uh, uh, in quarantine. They've been tested twice, and one time like a week after that, and they were negative each time. And I really didn't have much of any symptoms or something. I was a bit tired maybe, but that was it. And but I know other people who have been like really, really close to death with the same disease. So it's I guess I was just really lucky that I had like this mild thing going on. This one of my coworkers, he had like a more heavy variety, I guess, and he's still 4 months on. He's still coughing and wheezing, and he's tired after everything.
Okay.
Still not back to his usual health. So I guess I had a lucky escape there. Yeah.
And are you suffering any side effects like that people say, like loss of taste or smell or any of that stuff?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing. No.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just really lucky. Yeah.
It's all that dancing in the woods naked, you know, that
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, sacrificing babies to Satan.
Right. Somebody's on your side, you know.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much coming to the end of my list, and the last thing I wanted to ask you is, like, you know, what do you got going on for yourself? I mean, like, what are your future plans? What are you what's in the shoots for you know, Ibex, Verbum, Gigatron, Abysmal,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff. And personally, this is your you're in the spotlight, so this is your time to shine. You know, what's going on with you?
Well.
I mean, obviously, Femke's involved in some of this too. You know, so
Oh yes.
you
Yes.
know.
Well, first of all, well, we are getting a puppy. So that's going to be a big change in my life, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a Labrador and a really active dog. So it looks like the rules here are loosening up a bit, and we can start rehearsing again, which would be fantastic. And because I really need other people around me to, to write music, I guess. I tried doing it by myself, but it won't work. But I'm quite positive that the moment I enter the rehearsal room with Ludus for Ibex Angel Order, that we'll, write 3 songs each rehearsal, no problem. Because we really want to record our second full-length album.
3 songs per rehearsal.
Yeah,
Wow.
because if we get our energies flowing, it will just, but I can't do it by myself. I really need him to be there and do his drum thing, and then it'll just flow. For Abysmal Darkening, we have recorded an album. It's been mixed and mastered now by TT of Abigor, the band. We're looking for someone to release that.
Hint, hint.
Yeah,
Record companies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it will be a bit difficult because we're not trendy. I guess we're not the thing everyone wants to hear right now. But
did you say earlier that you're working with Van Records as well?
Oh yeah, well that was for the Ibex Angel Order thing. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, because there's we have plenty of people we know with labels that.
No, that's good.
Work with.
That's
but
good.
for Abysmal Darkening, it will be. I think it will be difficult finding a label that suits us. But I think in the end it will work out. With Gigatron, I think we'll just, yeah, we're really a live band. We really want to play gigs. So the moment that's possible again, we'll jump on it. And
Abysmal is your focus right now.
yeah, mostly. That's you really want to get that album out there. And for me, it's a really personal album. A friend of ours died last year. There's a song dedicated to him on there. And it's a really deep expression of my connection to my ancestors and to my surroundings. And yeah, for me, it's a really important album. So I hope it will find a label who will do it justice. Yeah.
Yeah, well then, my condolences. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah. I had two very close friends of mine back in California also died this year.
I saw, man.
And yeah, when Casey died, I was fucked up for about 4 or 5 days. I couldn't stop crying, and I was really fucked up. And
yeah,
and then not even a couple of weeks, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks, got a message that my friend Jason got beat to death on the street. Wow. And yeah, I guess it was a drug deal that went bad, and they beat him up on the street.
That's horrible.
And he died in the hospital. And so the murderer, the guy who killed him, is still loose. Nobody knows where he is. And so it's an open case. And so, yeah, my condolences, because I know how it feels to lose a good friend. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I hope that that album comes. I hope that album comes quick. I hope the inspiration comes quick.
Me too.
I hope the record label comes quick. And yeah, would be great.
Yeah, and for the rest, it's just doing my job, I guess, being a scientist, and because yeah, summer's coming, and we also do like summer camp type thing, where we like mad science. I think from 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, and then 5 days. And kids, their parents drop them off, and we do a bunch of experiments and have fun, and we'll have our own vacation, I think, and we'll just go somewhere in the Netherlands for a week and chill out a bit.
Do you have any special projects in mind for the kids?
No, not really. I think they just need to get to know the dog.
I mean, for the students, Mad Science. Do you have any special projects for Mad Science planned?
Well, we're doing a project right now which involves all the grammar schools in Eindhoven. Eindhoven is the tech city of the Netherlands, and usually they have like this big science and tech festival, which we are always a part of, but this year, because of COVID, they can't. So we're doing this Rube Goldberg challenge with all these schools now. They have to build a Rube Goldberg machine, or this chain reaction, to make a simple action as difficult as possible with a chain reaction. And we've made one ourselves and filmed it, which is being edited right now. I'm really curious about how that will turn out. And then we'll send all these schools, it's like 600 classes, and they will get like a box with stuff they can use to make this Rube Goldberg machine cooler than just having some dominoes and some marbles. So that's a pretty cool thing we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So, man, this worked out pretty good. This was a good
Yeah,
talk. This was a great talk.
indeed.
We covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did indeed.
Yeah, this was really, really cool. I'm really, and I'm really super happy that I finally did it. I finally sat down.
Indeed,
I
yeah.
finally did it. I've been talking about it for so long, and I finally actually put the
Yeah, good for you,
chair up
man.
and got everything ready. I even put the backdrop up behind me, so I got this.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, so yeah, I'm hoping that my next guest is going to be